Hello there, this is David from David Books and Comics, and today I want to look at Andromeda number 3. This features Arthur C. Clarke's short story, Exile of the Aeons. And Arthur C. Clarke, well, he was a prolific science fiction writer. He lived between 1917 and 2008. And he's best known for his novel made into a film called 2001 A Space Odyssey. And from the short stories that I've read of his, a lot of his science fiction stories have that space opera kind of outer space setting. And this story is similar to that. It has a space opera setting. The story begins. We'll just go to this is the first page. The story begins with an introspection from an unnamed character. That's this guy called the Master, who is reflecting on power. He likens himself to Genghis Khan and Napoleon. And he has henchmen that work with him. That's this guy. And within this context, you see that there's some sort of war going on. You flip the page, and the other guys, who are largely unnamed, you only get the elements of characterization through just the graphic art. But you get to notice that the world that the Master belongs to is just falling apart because of war. His dreams of dictatorship, it looks like, have failed. So he makes plans, and here he departs on these plans, and he enters into this globe thing, as you can see here. And the other people just do not figure in his plans. So this is a kind of preserving pod. It's impenetrable and made to last for centuries. You see here he injects himself with this sort of freezing fluid. In the text, you see the words cryogenic, but that's kind of the impression you have. He injects himself with this freezing fluid. And then you see this scene where the war is still going on. And basically, it's an apocalyptic scene where the earth gets destroyed almost to oblivion. And there he is. So he sleeps through the centuries. And as it's describing in the panels, the earth is changing. Life as he once knew it is drastically different. The days were longer and dimmer, and the world was getting colder. So then what happens? We have a change of scenery. And we have a character introduced. That's this fellow here. His name is Trevinder, who is accused of simply disagreeing with his leaders. So, just because of this disagreement, which is left kind of obscure, he is put in self imposed punishment, kind of self imposed exile. And then you read this text to Trevinder. Greetings of the council. This building which we have sent after you through the time field will supply all your needs for an indefinite period. We do not know if civilization will still exist in the age in which you find yourself. Man may now be extinct, since the chromosome K star, K, will have become dominant, and the race may have mutated into something no longer human. That is for you to discover. You are now in the twilight of the earth, and it is our hope that you are not alone. But if it is your destiny to be the last living creature on this once lovely world, remember that the choice was yours. So there you go. So Trevinder is sent off into this exile. He bemoans the fact that he's going to be exiled, as you can see in this panel. And then off he goes. And he comes and discovers that he's all alone. He does discover in this panel the remainder of what looks like a civilization. So he begins exploring. He is in a desolate world and is lonely. Finally, as we turn to this, he discovers the globe. Where the master is entombed. He reads his mind as he enters inside the tomb. He discovers the master. He begins to read his mind. They don't use words. He just communicates using his mind, telepathically, you would say. Trevinder tells him that he's been asleep for infinitely longer than 100 years. Then we flip the page. And what else do we discover? Even though he encounters this master and he's not alone, he nonetheless, Trevinder, is hopeful until he begins to read the master's mind and discovers the violence that his mind saw and witnessed and interpreted as primitive and barbaric and violent. So we turn the page, and in the end, he knows what he has to do. And with his mind, he simply overpowers the master, and the master dies. And we turn the page, and he walks away with a deep sadness and loneliness. So here we have Arthur C. Clarke's story. He takes the conventions of space opera to tell a story of a future that is fraught with hope, mainly in the person of someone like Trevinder, but within a context of a dying Earth. The story, Exile of the Aeons, can be seen as a metaphor for hope for humankind, especially in the person of Trevinder. But in the end, he projected onto the master what he himself had become, a lonely and doomed human being. So there you go. So I hope you enjoyed this little short presentation of Andromeda number 3, Arthur C. Clarke's Exile of the Aeons. And if you did, remember to give me that thumbs up And thanks everyone for your continued subscriptions. The channel, as always, is continuing to grow. And as always, feel free to comment. Thanks. Bye.